Good afternoon, and welcome to Friends House for the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine's graduation ceremony 2019. The ceremony will begin very shortly, but just before it does, I need to make a few housekeeping announcements. So could you please all take your seats or remain in your seats? Firstly, could you please make sure that all mobile phones and any other electronic devices are turned to silent? Graduands, please ensure that you are sitting in the seat assigned to you. You will find your seat number on the coloured ticket you received when you registered. If you are not sitting in the correct seat, this could disrupt the proceedings. It is important that graduands and guests remain in the hall for the duration of the ceremony. We aren't expecting any problems, but if for any reason we need to evacuate the lecture theatre, an alarm will sound and ushers will guide you through the exit doors to a safe space. Please do have a look around now to familiarise yourself with the emergency exits, as there are several around the room. You'll notice that there are some video cameras around the room. This is because the ceremony is being streamed live and will be available for download afterwards. Please also be aware that flash photography will be being used as each graduate crosses the stage. Do feel free to take photographs and videos during the ceremony. However, please take care not to obscure the view of anybody around you. And finally, today is a celebration of the success of our graduands. So please do enjoy the morning and show your support with applause and perhaps even a little cheer. Ladies and gentlemen, could you please be upstanding for the academic procession?
Please sit. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine's graduation ceremony 2019. This is the second of two ceremonies today, and it's wonderful to see such a large number of family and friends here to celebrate our graduates' achievements. I would now like to invite Professor Peter Piot, Director of the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, to the lectern to say a few words. Professor Piot.
Thank you, Damon, and good afternoon, everybody. Chairman, honored graduates and guests, it's a privilege for me as the Director of the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine to welcome you here today at this graduation ceremony. First, I would like to say that I'm also very pleased that besides the graduates, we see so many friends and family members who are here, partners, and often it's they who also share the considerable personal sacrifice in order so that you can, achieve what you have done. And it's not only your success, but also the success of your family, your partners, and your friends that we celebrate today. So please join me in showing our appreciation for them. This year we are celebrating our 120th anniversary. We started the first batch, as you say, for students on the 2nd of October 1899. And so we're going to celebrate that this year, and the theme is 120 years of innovation. But you were studying also with us during a pivotal time in our school's history. About a year ago, the two Medical Research Council units in the Gambia and in Uganda joined LSHTM and fundamentally transformed our school into a truly global institution. We're probably the most global university there is. And the global nature of our school is also reflected in our staff, alumni, students, and in the focus of our research. And that is something to be immensely proud of. At a time when many societies seem to increasingly turning inwards, we remain resolutely committed to tackling the most pressing health challenges, both here in the UK and around the world, because global is here and there, not just far away. And because most of the major health threats we face today are by their very nature interconnected, and their solutions will depend on the full participation of a global community. Now, while we as a species have never lived as long and never been so healthy, we also face countless other global challenges. There's still a huge unfinished agenda. More displaced people and refugees than ever before in history, prolonged conflicts and humanitarian crises, the potential rebound of an HIV epidemic amidst growing complacency, drug-resistant infections, spikes in preventable diseases like measles due to powerful anti-vaccine movements funded by social media, or fueled by social media, and a tsunami of non-communicable diseases such as cancers, diabetes, heart disease, and dementia, all facing societies and all over the world. And the UK is not exempt from these significant health challenges. When you look around here in London, the homelessness, mental health issues, the National Health Service struggling, and all this against a climate of Brexit and uncertainty about the future of funding for about everything that is funded by public money, including research and education. We're also seeing some of these challenges play out right now as the Democratic Republic of Congo struggles with the second largest Ebola outbreak in history, in the middle of an active armed conflict zone in North Kivu, reminding us once again that health is determined by a confluence of social, political, and economic factors. And I'm very mindful that we have several colleagues from the school through the Rapid Support Team, the UK Public Health Rapid Support Team, who are now in Congo. And last week in Sierra Leone, I could see how the research on a new Ebola vaccine is going to really benefit many populations in Africa. Now, these challenges will have major impacts on all of our lives, but even more so for you, for young people, and as you embark on the next stages of your career. So the world really needs you. As the next generation of public health leaders and scientists, you will undoubtedly be working towards the solutions, and your knowledge and creativity will be critical in shaping these. And that gives me reasons for hope, and that's why I remain an optimist, because of you. And I hope that we are now at a new dawn in public health, where we shift from only dealing with disease and curing and treating people to also ensuring that people remain healthy in the first place. And it's not only adding years to our life, but also life to our years. Huge opportunities for improving health and well-being lie beyond and outside the health sector, and outside the biomedical understandings of health. That's why in our school we resolutely have opted for a multidisciplinary approach to health. Whatever it takes to improve health, to promote health, we need to make sure that we have in-house, or we are dealing with it through partnerships. And I'm hopeful that the multidisciplinary and stretching nature of your degrees will have amply prepared you to engage and innovate across other sectors, ensuring that we are not addressing today's and tomorrow's problems with yesterday's approaches, as I feel is still the case. We also need to think about how we mend rifts in our society. It's vital that in all of our work we encourage respect, tolerance and diversity, and importantly, stand up to injustices where we see them. Wherever you end up in your careers, if you hold on to these assertions, you'll be a positive force for change. And that's also what we're trying to do as a school. In this very building, in November, we hosted the Women Leaders in Global Health Conference, bring together over 900 women and a few men from all over the world, debating how we can reach a better gender equality in our field of global health. Now, as you embark on your careers, be prepared for the fact that it won't always be a straightforward trajectory, but I'm sure you already know that. The idea that you can plan a secure career in these uncertain times is an illusion, as it has always been. And speaking from my own experience, I can tell you, don't overplan your career, as you will end up missing many opportunities, and in any case, it doesn't work, and often it's too boring. I hope one of the things you have learned here is to always look ahead and to prepare, while recognizing that life is always going to surprise us. So carry on learning your whole life, and don't be afraid to take chances. Now today, we are also honoring two of our esteemed colleagues that are true leaders and role models in our field. Professor Eleanor Riley is this year's recipient of the prestigious Ronald Ross Medal. We'll hear more about that. Professor Riley is director of the Rosalind Institute, Dean for Research and Professor of Immunology and Infectious Diseases at the Royal School of Veterinary Studies in Edinburgh, but before was a professor of immunology here at our school. We also have the great privilege of welcoming Dr. Richard Idro, who is the winner of the inaugural, first time, Greenwood Africa Award. Dr. Idro just arrived from Japan, so we're very lucky to have you here. And he's a senior lecturer at Makerere University, an honorary consultant pediatrician and pediatric neurologist at Mulago Hospital in Uganda, and also a visiting research fellow at University of Oxford. So both Professor Riley and Dr. Idro have made outstanding contributions to improving health globally. And I'm honored that they're both able to attend this ceremony today, as I said, as role models for all of us. From today, you join a global family of alumni, a family of thousands working in over 180 countries, but united by a common mission. And we look forward to keeping in touch with you as your career evolves. And we also look to you to support the school as we develop our research partnerships and educate future generations of students at a critical time for public and global health. To conclude, so last summer, we sadly lost former Secretary General of the UN, Kofi Annan, a great statesman, an extraordinary human being, and one of the greatest global health leaders of our time, and my boss for 10 years. As you embark on the next chapter of your lives and careers, remember what he said, that to live is to choose. But to choose well, you must know who you are and what you stand for, where you want to go, and why you want to get there. Congratulations to everyone, and my very best wishes for whatever comes next. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Piot. And we now come to the presentation of today's graduates. Dame Marjorie, on behalf of Council, the governing body of the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, we invite you to formally recognise and celebrate the academic achievement of its graduates. Representatives from the Faculty of Public Health and Policy will present to you the master's degree graduates, and then representatives from each faculty will present to you the graduates who qualified for a doctoral and MPhil degree in the academic session 2017-18. I call upon Professor Cara Hansen to come forward and present the master's degree graduates from the Faculty of Public Health and Policy. Professor Hansen.
Good afternoon. It's now my pleasure to introduce the graduates from the Faculty of Public Health and Policy. I'll start with those who are awarded the Master of Science in Control of Infectious Diseases. Megan Adeyemi Wojno Akodu. Richard Luke Atherton. Leslie Ayuk Thakur. Christopher Lee Basham. Ellen Mary Beer. Awarded with distinction, Sarah Bick. Jack Bickford Smith. Paul Bonham. Rosemary Elaine Bornstein. Annabelle Brown. Annie Brunskill. Ali Akbar Datu. Awarded with distinction, Olanrewaju Edun. Sarah Nicole Fortna. Kyoku Fujisawa. Joanna Furnival Adams. Patrick Hurd. Emily Rosetta Hilton. Awarded with distinction, Hannah Hume. Abigail Izzard. Hei Sun Jo. Awarded with distinction, Joanne Lacey. Patricia Lally. Rosie Grace Madron. Richard Mather. Awarded with distinction, Eleanor McDowell. Anne Meyer-Cord. Gregory Colin Milne, Marta Moharieta, Arian Nikab, Laura Paris, Ganesh Paul, Ramandeep Sahota, Joshua Silva, Jessica Jane Skett, awarded with distinction Lisa Stadegaard, and also with distinction Sarah Watson. Elizabeth Ann Westwood, Narita Eva Wilson, Lauren Wolfe, and awarded with distinction Assad Zaidi. Okay, that's one group done. For the award of Master of Science in Global Health Policy by Distance Learning, Amna Mariam Ali, Richard John Baranek, Afolakemi Bisarat, Bolanle. Afolakemi Basirat Bolanle? Oh, okay, we'll move on. Aristula Danica. Tura Boru Galgalo. Irit Ingel. Aisha Jakub. With distinction, Rebecca Gogel-Kinney. Rebecca is also the winner of the University of London International Programme's 150th Anniversary Prize. Emma Mulhern. Oluwatobi Oremule. Laurence Peru, Shyam Kumar Sriram, Courtney Taylor, and Catherine Helen Witcher. For the award of Postgraduate Certificate in Global Health Policy by Distance Learning, Maria Paula Lia. For the award of Master of Science in Health Policy, Planning and Financing, with merit, Yuan Tao Huang. With merit, Krista Kruja. With merit, Adumu Abdullahi Maikano. And also with merit, Lizna Makani. For the award of Master of Science in Public Health, Priscilla Ayotemide Akin Onitolo. Varda Alam, Katie Allen, Roxanne Assis, Murayo Taiwo Bade Adebowale. Marie Balif. Tala Balouz. Marta Bertrand. Giovanna Betoli. With distinction, Thomas Alexander Callender. Ole Nascimento. With distinction, Florence Chalker. Katrina Chaplin. With distinction, and also the winner of the Amanda Jacqueline Berger Prize and the Zoe Walker Memorial Prize, Cleo Chevalier-Riffard. Samuel Evan Sinkota. Jack Connor Clegg. Madeleine Cochet. Tessa Cornelissen. Liam James Crosby with distinction. Avisha Dayanani. Namito Deodare. Sandra Patricia Dixon. Lilia Dorr. Hannah Emmett. John Stansfield Farrow. Eric Flores. Michael Fowler. Lucy Furby. Sophie Anna Charlotte Gepp. Amy Marie Jimma. Suan Go. Tianshu Hu Guan. Samira Hassan. Awarded with distinction, Sally Hayward. Louis Gimard. Ala Jawad. Laura Jung. Rajab Khan. Lara Killick. Catherine Kirby. Catherine Kerner. Harsh Latta. David Scott Lehman. Edmund Chunman Lee. And awarded with distinction, Lucy McConaughey. Sally McVinish. Kush Shiv Mabubani. Fahad Siddique Malik. Judith Matsiko, Alice May McGushin, and awarded with distinction, Dominic Menges. Sarah Sami Yusuf, Yasin Omar Ali Mukaddam, Niso Nurova, Berenika Obermeyer, Charlotte Emma O'Halloran, Emma O'Kane, Thomas George Osborne, Vinesh Patel, Tamara Pimovska, Marjorie Pichon, Isabel Pifare Coutreau, Emmanuel Charlotte Plucker, Johanna Louise Preston, awarded with distinction, Simon Proctor. Kiran Kasper Rajan, Priyanka Rajendram, Tika Ram, awarded with distinction, Marine Ray, Carla Smuts, Grace Spence Green, Alistair Keith Robert Stanley, Carlotta Stephanie Starks, Laura Stoll, Mei Yen Tan, and awarded with distinction, Suzanne Siyuan Tang. Yasen Cholikov, Amber Tickle, Federica Turato, Erica Chum Barima, Lawrence Namdi, Ugwumba, Poppy Vernon, awarded with distinction, Michelle Wolfgang. Paula Kathleen Voorhuis, Bethany Walters, awarded with distinction, Florence Wedmore, awarded with distinction and also the winner of the Chadwick and Daly Prize, Sarah Charlotte Woodhall. And Danny Yip. For the award of Master of Science in Public Health by Distance Learning, Adetun Agbowuro, Ettore Ardimento, Helena Ardura Garcia, Harpreet Kaur Bandal, awarded with distinction, Timothy Bollinger, Mobashir Butt, awarded with distinction, Tim Campion-Smith. Leanne Crook, Donata Dalla Riva, Aisatu Diawara, Fiona Melissa Fleck, awarded with distinction, Jacopo Gabbani. Virginia Jane Griffiths, awarded with distinction, Maya Kaisa Hirvonen. Kamjit Kaur, Joel Mugambi Kiburi, Christina Millet, Daniel Ondari Mogeni, Shanine Mohubat, Catherine Rose Muge, Benny Ing, Yumiko Ogino, Grace, you don't look like Grace. Leah Philippe Kagan, Monica Rodriguez Garcia, Lori Romanzi, Benjamin William Phillips Taylor, Aislinn Snyder. For the award of Master of Science in Public Health, Environment and Health by Distance Learning, Pierre-Stéphane Gzel, Diana Mulatia, Rizlan Usemine, and Lena Saleh. For the award of Master of Science in Public Health, Health Promotion by Distance Learning, Rajbir Kaur, Basi, Victoria Alice Littleton Clark, awarded with distinction, Jenna Iodice, Gloria Lubega. And Deborah Maguire Monaghan. For the award of Master of Science in Public Health, Health Services Management by Distance Learning, Mariam Saoud Albes. Helen Isioma Anyasi. Sarah Bader. Olivia Perota Hare. And that's with distinction. Also with distinction, and the winner of the University of London International Programme's 150th Anniversary Prize, Tomislav Mistrovic. Bernardo Nuche Berenguer. Jennifer Lynn Podeswa de Oliveira. Tae-Wan Ying. Tonghoi Yu Sara. And Kiruka Kalista Ukor. And that concludes the awards to the master's degree graduates from the Faculty of Public Health and Policy.
So we now turn to our doctoral degree awards. So thank you, Professor Hanson. And I now call upon Professor Poonam Mangtani to present the doctoral graduates from the Faculty of Epidemiology and Population Health. Professor Mangtani.
Well, good afternoon. It's my pleasure to introduce the research degree graduates from the Faculty of Epidemiology and Population Health. First is Sean Kavanagh, for a thesis entitled Using Data Analysis and Mathematical Modelling to Study Tuberculosis Contact Tracing in London with reference to the National Strategy and Guidance. Next is Kristen Gray. Kristen Gray? Yes. For the thesis entitled Use of the Bayesian Family of Methods to Correct for Effects of Exposure Measurement Error in Polynomial Regression Models. Sophie Hedges, for a thesis entitled Children's Work and Parental Investment in Education in Northwestern Tanzania. Andrea Late, for a thesis entitled Near Real-Time Vaccine Safety Surveillance Using United Kingdom Electronic Health Records. Philip James, for a thesis entitled Maternal Nutrition, Seasonality and Epigenetics, an exploration of one-carbon metabolism and a novel nutrient supplement design in the Gambia. Christopher Jarvis, for a thesis entitled Spatial Analysis of Cluster Randomised Trials. Palwasha Khan, for a thesis entitled Investigating Mycobacterium Tuberculosis Transmission in Rural Malawi. Olivia Levy, for a thesis entitled Exploring the Genetic Architecture and the Chromatin Organisation of Breast Cancer. Swaib Lula, for a thesis entitled Investigating the Impact of Early Life, Life Course and Genetic Factors on Blood Pressure Among Young Africans. Simon Newsom, for a thesis entitled Using Registry Data to Estimate the Effects of Long-Term Treatment Use in Cystic Fibrosis. Christopher Wrench, for a thesis entitled Point of Contact, Interactive Record Linkage between Demographic Surveillance and Health Facilities to Measure Patterns of HIV Service Utilisation in Tanzania. Tessa Roberts, for a thesis entitled Mapping the Treatment Gap, a mixed methods exploration of barriers to treatment seeking for depression in rural India. Frank Sandman, for a thesis entitled The True Cost of Epidemic and Outbreak Diseases in Hospitals. Robin Schaefer, for a thesis entitled Referral Systems and Transportation for Emergency Obstetric Care in India. Not, oh. Okay. Oh, right, thank you very much. Apologies. So, Robin Schaffer, for a thesis entitled Long-Term Net Survival Among Women Diagnosed with Breast Cancer, Accuracy of its Estimation and Evaluation of its Determinants. Thank you. Jennifer Thompson. Jennifer is also the winner of the Bradford Hill Prize for a thesis entitled Improving the Design and Analysis of Stepped Wedge Trials. Connell Watson, for a thesis entitled Seroepidemiological Investigation of Salmonella enterica serovar typhi infection and the potential role of vaccination in the control of typhoid fever in Fiji. And finally, but not least, Rosie Wilson, for a thesis entitled I Said No for a Reason, Understanding Factors Influencing Vaccination Acceptance During Pregnancy in Hackney, London. And that concludes the awards to the research degree graduates from the Faculty of Epidemiology and Population Health. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Mangtani. I now call upon Professor Jane Webster to present the doctoral MPhil graduates from the Faculty of Infectious and Tropical Diseases. Professor Webster.
Good afternoon. It's now my pleasure to introduce the research degree graduates for the Faculty of Infectious and Tropical Diseases. Mark James Spreckley, Impact of Hearing Impairment and the Provision of Hearing Aids on Poverty, Mental Health, Quality of Life and Activity Participation in Guatemala. Ifeyinwa Chizoba Simone Anyebo. PFK 13, Independent Determinants of Susceptibility of African Plasmodium falciparum to artemisinin and partner drugs in vivo. Hilary Brown, Development of Anaerobic Culturing Methods to study the evolution and transmission of the human intestinal microbiota. Hilary is also the winner of the Garnham Prize. Jaya Devi Chidambaram, using studies in diagnosis and pathophysiology of severe microbial keratitis. Ernest Diaz-Benavente, using whole genome sequence data to study genomic diversity and develop molecular barcodes to profile Plasmodium malaria parasites. Christina Dew, an investigation into the role of the skin odorants and microbiota in the attraction of malaria mosquitoes to human beings. Claire Eckold, the effects of comorbidities on blood transcriptomes in tuberculosis patients before and during treatment. Bronner Pamplona Augusto Gonçalves, the human infectious reservoir of falciparum malaria. Bronner is also the winner of the Woodruff Medal. Sorry, I've got one missing. Ryan Christopher Henrici. Mind the traffic, validation and characterization of artemisinin resistance pathways in Plasmodium falciparum by genome editing. Moitzer Christian, effects of pyrethroid exposure and insecticide resistance on the sporogenic development of Plasmodium falciparum in Anopheles gambiae SL. Mirza Ghalib Lalani, surveillance approaches to detect the quality of medicines in low middle-income countries with a focus on artemisinin combination therapies for malaria. Edith Diliwe Majanonga. No. Priya Dilukma Mojaria. Evidence to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of school eye health programs. Alec O'Keefe, development of novel predictive 2D and 3D in vitro models for anti-leishmanial drug testing. Satria Arif Prabhu, accelerating development of therapeutic tuberculosis vaccines using an ex vivo immunoassay platform. Sarah Prentice, investigating the non-specific effects of BCG in neonates. Jovita Sedekia, family planning services in southern Tanzania for women who would like to delay their first birth, a mixed method study. Tracy Heather Smythe, evidence to improve clubfoot services in Africa with Zimbabwe as a case study. Geert Jan Wijnand, new pharmacokinetic and PKPD drug development methodologies for cutaneous leishmaniasis. John Emmanuel Ossom Williams, the prevalence and importance of malaria infections during pregnancy not detected by microscopy or rapid diagnostic testing. And that concludes the research degree graduates from the Faculty of Infectious and Tropical Diseases.
Thank you, Professor Webster. I now call upon Professor Simon Cohen to present the doctoral graduates from the Faculty of Public Health and Policy. Professor Cohen.
Thank you. Good afternoon. It is now my pleasure to introduce the research degree graduates from the Faculty of Public Health and Policy. Fiona Margaret Campbell, for a thesis entitled Progressing Health Equity in Political Transition, an analysis of the key determinants of health equity policies, space, and its use in Myanmar, 2006 to 2016. Bianca Juliana de Souza, for a thesis entitled Evidence for Global Health Policy Development, a case study of malaria preventative policy processes at the World Health Organization. Karina Ligia Vasilescu, for a thesis entitled Quantitative Text Analysis, Uses and Application in the Institutional Policy Processes at EU Level. Christine Belesova, for a thesis entitled Crop Yields, Child Nutrition and Health in Rural Burkina Faso in the Context of Weather Variability, an epidemiological study. Nicolas Berger, for a thesis entitled Neighbourhood and Home Environments and Adolescent Physical Activity Behaviours, Longitudinal Analysis of the Olympic Regeneration in East London, Oriel Study. Anna Angela Corriedo Lucen-Kirchen, for a thesis entitled A Policy Analysis of the 2014 Mexican Soda Tax. Andrew David Clark, for a thesis entitled Mortality Benefits and Interception Risks of Rotavirus Vaccination in Low and Middle Income Countries. Soledad Cuevas, for a thesis entitled The Nutritional and Economic Effects of Palm Oil Trade Liberalization in India, a Policy Analysis. Anahi Cristina Dresa Mansilla, for a thesis entitled Antibiotics in Mexico, an analysis of problems, policies, and politics. Shivani Mathur Gaia, for a thesis entitled Development and Evaluation of a Pilot Arts-Based Intervention to Reduce Mental Health Stigma Among Youths in India, the Creators Project. Philippa Mary Grenfell, for a thesis entitled Undoing Occupational Citizenship, Sex Workers' Experiences of Everyday Violence and Resistance in Lima, Peru. Mohammed Balal Hossain, for a thesis entitled Community Development for HIV Prevention Among Males Who Have Sex with Males in Bangladesh, Rhetoric or Reality. Roxanne Julianne Kovacs, for a thesis entitled Health Economics Perspectives on the Patient-Provider Interaction in Senegal. Esther Lam Sum Kwong, for a thesis entitled the use of patient-reported outcome measures, PROMs that is, for evaluating emergency admissions. James Andres Lopez Bernal for a thesis entitled The Use of Interrupted Time Series for the Evaluation of Public Health Interventions. Michaela Merigania for a thesis entitled Valuing Follow-up Programs in Head and Neck Cancer. Rosalind Miller for a thesis entitled The Rise of Chain Pharmacies in India, Implications for Public Health. Belen Podmore for a thesis entitled The Access to and Outcomes of Elective Hip and Knee Replacement Surgery for Patients with Comorbidities, a study using PROMs and administrative data. Noemia Teixeira for a thesis entitled Cost-Effectiveness of a Protocol for Tuberculosis Diagnosis in People Living with HIV, an economic study alongside a pragmatic clinical trial in Brazil. Stephanie Tan for a thesis entitled Doing Everything They Can or Everything That Pays, the impact of financial incentives on two non-profit organizations. Jin Zhu for a thesis entitled Analyzing the Balance Between Primary Care Providers and Hospitals in China's Context. And that concludes the awards for the research degree graduates from the Faculty of Public Health and Policy.
Thank you, Professor Cohen. It is at this point in the proceedings that we turn to the presentation of the winner of the first Greenwood Africa Award. It is my great pleasure to deliver a citation for Dr. Richard Idro. Dame Marjorie, may I present to you Dr. Richard Idro. Dr. Idro is a senior lecturer at Makerere University, an honorary consultant paediatric neurologist at Malago Teaching and National Referral Hospital, and a visiting research fellow in tropical medicine at the University of Oxford. He trained in paediatrics at Makerere before undertaking a PhD in neuroscience at the University of Amsterdam and training in child neurology at Great Ormond Street Hospital in London and the National Centre for Children with Epilepsy in Lingfield, Surrey, on a Nelson Mandela Childhood Epilepsy Fellowship. Dr. Idro has a very strong track record of excellence in clinical research. He was first involved in research as a medical student when he and 4 colleagues conducted a survey of home treatment of fever in Uganda. His master's degree thesis on the prognosis and outcomes of cerebral malaria was awarded the 2002 International Health Award of the US Pediatric Academic Societies. His PhD research was recognized by the Sheila Wallace Award of the International Child Neurology Association and the Outstanding Neuroscience Award of the Society of Neuroscience of Africa. Dr. Idro's main contributions to science have been in understanding the neurological manifestations of malaria in children, the pathogenesis of cerebral malaria, the neurodevelopmental sequelae and the mechanisms of brain injury in cerebral malaria, the burden of acute seizure disorders in East Africa, and most recently in describing, understanding and developing interventions for the treatment and prevention of what became known as nodding syndrome. Nodding syndrome is a severely disabling disorder which affects over 10,000 children in South Sudan, northern Uganda, and southern Tanzania. Dr. Idro led detailed epidemiological mapping and systematic clinical studies to characterize the features of the syndrome and use these to develop symptomatic treatments and management guidelines for health workers. The etiology remains unknown, but there has been a consistent epidemiological association with Onchocerca volvulus, a multi-pronged program of vector control and twice-yearly mass ivermectin administration to eliminate onchocerciasis in the affected areas has been associated with ending the epidemic, and since 2014 there have been no new cases. In 2015, Dr. Idro won a Medical Research Council African Research Leader Award to determine pathogenesis and develop specific treatments. Dr. Idro's rapidly growing reputation has been recognized in various ways. Over the last 5 years, he has represented Africa on the Neurobiology Commission of the International League Against Epilepsy, and he has been elected a board member of the International Child Neurology Association. He is a member of the WHO Severe Malaria Technical Committee. Professor Brian Greenwood, whom we have here in the audience, is a towering authority on infectious disease in Africa, and Dr. Idro is a worthy first recipient of this award, excelling in infectious disease research, which has had real public health impact. Dame Marjorie, I request you to confer the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine's Greenwood Africa Award on Dr. Richard Idro.
The leadership of the London School and its staff, graduates, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. First, I would like to give thanks to God, whose grace has always served me and has been my guide. I sincerely thank the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine for the innovation of the Greenwood Africa Award and the selection committee for deeming it fit to honor me with this inaugural award. I'm truly humbled. This award is a result of a research program that many have been part of. I dedicate it to all scientists working to prevent the outcomes of children exposed to parasitic infections. The work remains incomplete. Specifically, malaria still affects and causes brain injury and impairments in millions of children in sub-Saharan Africa. And two, although we stopped the epidemic of nodding syndrome in Uganda, other countries in the region are still being ravaged by new cases of this devastating disease. We are yet to adequately understand the etiology and the pathogenesis and develop specific treatments for cure. As a recipient of an award, one will expect some wise words from me, but unfortunately there may be none. However, in line with the spirit of the Greenwood Africa Award, our success has been driven by focused studies, offering the best available care for our study participants, harnessing the energy and enthusiasm of young scientists, recognizing our own limitations and seeking support of other scientists in collaborations to overcome these deficiencies, engaging the public in policymakers and the community and making them part of our work, and taking time to celebrate our successes like today. This award gives us more resolve to even work harder. To my mentors, Professor Charles Newton and Professor Kevin Maas, research colleagues and staff, I say thank you. To the institutions that supported my training and formation, Makerere University, the Kenya Medical Research Institute Wellcome Trust Research Program, Great Ormond Street Hospital for Children, and the University of Oxford, thank you. To my family, in particular my parents, my wife Catherine, who is here with me today, our children Ignatius and Philomena, Priscilla and Victoria, thank you for the love and braving the long hours of Daddy's absence. To my friends represented here by Rodrigo and Ferdinand, to you all, I say thank you.
Congratulations again, Dr. Idro. It is now my pleasure to introduce Professor Colin Sutherland to develop a citation for the 2019 Ronald Ross Medalist, Professor Eleanor Riley. Professor Sutherland.
Members of the Platform Party, distinguished guests, graduates, ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure to present the citation for Professor Eleanor Riley, recipient of the 2019 Ronald Ross Medal. Professor Riley is awarded this medal in recognition of her outstanding contributions to the advancement of public health and tropical medicine in the field of malaria immunology. Eleanor is an eminent experimental immunologist, well recognised for her contribution to our understanding of naturally acquired human immunity to malaria infection. These contributions provide outstanding insights into the natural and vaccine-elicited acquisition of protective immune responses to the malaria parasite Plasmodium falciparum in highly malaria endemic settings including Ghana, Tanzania, Uganda, Dr. Idro's country, and the Gambia. Eleanor has been a world leader in illuminating and dissecting the crucial role of innate and cellular immune effectors in shaping the progression to mild or severe disease and the different levels of pathology that can occur with malaria. This has led to unexpected new knowledge concerning immunity in malaria, but also in human infections in general. And Professor Riley has recently taken her detailed understanding of tropical immunology into life course immunology, studies that work across a broad range of pathogens in both the UK and Africa. Professor Riley's dedication over the most recent 3 decades of her scientific career have given us new understanding of an important tropical disease, malaria, and from the knowledge gained, substantially improved our human understanding of all infectious disease. Eleanor's outstanding contributions to tropical medicine go beyond her immense scientific achievements, as the lasting impact of this scientist on the field has been and will continue to be due to her leadership. Together with Brian Greenwood, Eleanor was a key founder of the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine Malaria Centre in 1998, and in particular led an extended program of high-quality clinical and epidemiological research through the Joint Malaria Program in Tanzania from 2000 to 2005. Much of this had a profound impact on the field, and with Chris Drakeley and Patrick Curran in her team, were responsible for re-evaluating and reasserting the importance of seroepidemiology in unravelling patterns of malaria transmission. And they identified important impacts of altitude, human genetics, mosquito diversity, and parasite polymorphism on the acquisition of these protective immune responses. This work was a sophisticated blend of immunology, parasite biology, human genetics, mathematical modelling, and environmental science, and remains to this day a state-of-the-art example of true interdisciplinary public health research. Professor Riley has been recognised by the field in many ways, including appointments to boards with the MRC and the BBSRC, as a distinguished editor-in-chief at Parasite Immunology for many years, and her election as a fellow to both the Academy of Medical Sciences in the UK and the Royal Society of Biology. And in 2015, Eleanor was recognised internationally as the Fred L. Soper Lecturer for the American Society of Tropical Medicine and Hygiene. This is a prestigious honour given once every 2 to 4 years by that society to an outstanding individual in the field. On the basis of her outstanding contribution, her profound influence on our understanding of human immunology in general, and above all, the exemplary leadership that Eleanor has shown over the past 2 to 3 decades, the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine is proud to declare Professor Eleanor Riley as a most worthy recipient of the Ronald Ross Medal.
Thank you, Colin, and thank you, friends, colleagues, graduates and guests. It's a great honour and a real pleasure to be here today to receive the Ronald Ross Medal. I was a member of staff at the school for almost 20 years, until I was lured away about 1.5 years ago by the promise of green fields, snow-capped mountains and nice clean air in Scotland. But while I was here, I was surrounded by some of the very best colleagues a scientist could hope to have. And I had the opportunity to teach, train and mentor a truly inspiring population of students. The ethos of the school, which is to harness science to make a real difference in the world, is not unique. Many universities and research institutes have the same aspirations. But I believe that very few organisations really deliver to the extent that the school does. The school is unique in my experience in truly understanding the importance of multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary approaches to complex problems. And furthermore, by backing up that stance, by sustaining and supporting the complete spectrum of global health research, from fundamental discovery all the way through to implementation and policy, from the lab to the clinic to the community and back again. And I think the graduates here today represent that breadth and depth of the school's population. The school's commitment to this end-to-end approach is all the more commendable, given its relatively small size. There are institutions that might lay claim to larger and more diverse research portfolios in global health, but none that I am aware of that deliver such high-quality work across such diverse disciplines and in such a coherent manner. The school's Malaria Centre, which I was a founder member of 20 years ago, has become a model for other successful multidisciplinary research centres at the school and elsewhere. And it was crucial to my development as a lab-based scientist who wanted to see my work find some utility in the real world. It was only when I came to the school that I really began to believe that my work as an immunologist, grappling with the many complexities of malaria parasites and the diseases they cause, could have some relevance for treating and preventing malaria, and that I might begin to see that impact within my own lifetime. Through daily interactions with clinicians, epidemiologists, and disease control professionals, I was able to see how the immune response to malaria that I was describing, and the way that response changed with increasing exposure to infection, might explain the clinical presentation of malaria at different ages and help us to predict how the presentation of malaria might change as parasite prevalence declines in response to control measures. And just as importantly, the potential consequences of losing control of malaria and allowing it to bounce back. Our work to develop assays and tools for measuring antimalarial antibodies has spawned a whole new approach to serological mapping of malaria transmission, and our work characterizing immune responses to malaria is now being used to evaluate the immunogenicity and efficacy of new vaccines for malaria, but also for other serious infections such as Ebola virus. It has been a fantastically rewarding journey, and one that would not have been possible anywhere else but at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine. So I thank you all. Those of you graduating today have had the great good fortune, or perhaps the wisdom, to be part of this amazing place right from the start of your careers. I urge you to appreciate that good fortune, to use your skills well, and most importantly, to keep in touch. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Idra and Professor Riley, for your inspiring addresses. Ladies and gentlemen, the rite of passage that celebrates the academic achievements of this amazing group of graduates and underlines their transition to alumni is drawing to a close. The mission of our school is to improve health and health equity in the world and in the UK and worldwide, working in partnership to achieve excellence in public and global health research, education, and translation of knowledge into policy and practice. A particularly important part of the way that our mission is realised and lives on is through the work, passion, and integrity of our school's alumni, sometimes in high-profile roles, other times in less visible but still vital ways, sometimes in overtly public health or global health contexts, other times in less obviously connected contexts. All of you will find different paths onwards from studying at our school, and will find different ways to contribute to the world. You will benefit from the formal and informal learning you have had during your time at the school, and also from the social interactions and interpersonal learning within our vibrant, diverse community. During your time here, you will have started building and strengthening your personal and professional networks. You must continue to nurture these as you develop your careers. Please support one another to continue to use your expertise with passion and integrity to make a difference in the world. And do please keep in touch. We love to hear what our alumni do after they graduate. We hope to see at least some of you back in the school in the future, or joining our worldwide online learning community, pursuing further study as part of your continuing professional development. It is now my pleasure to close the ceremony by inviting you all back to Keppel Street for a celebratory drink. Please ensure you bring your coloured reception ticket back to Keppel Street, and your reception location is indicated on that, and you will need it to gain entrance. The celebrations will run until 6:30, and there will be staff on hand to direct you. Thank you for coming to today's celebrations. Please stand for the academic recession.
Open my eyes, I see what it was.